At Josh Eisenberg 4 on Twitter. It is Chairshot Reality on WrestleZone.com, and it is now time for NXT in 90. This past week at NXT, you saw the farewell and the relinquishment of Asuka's NXT Women's Championship. Folks, cold hard fact, Asuka is the best NXT superstar of all time. Move over Finn, move over Nakamura, Bobby Roode, nope. Finn Balor, nope. Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, the list goes on and on of great NXT superstars, but none have been as good as Asuka and have been as good as Asuka for a very long time. Longevity, Asuka 8-0 at NXT TakeOver events, 8 NXT Championship matches. Asuka has completely dominated the women's division when it was picketed away from the likes of Charlotte, Sasha Banks, Becky Lynch, and Bayley. Those 4 women went up to the main roster, but Asuka was always the constant. 2 years Asuka was in NXT. She had great matches every single NXT TakeOver, and even matches on NXT television. A last woman standing match against Nikki Cross. This woman did everything possible to be the best. She oozes with charisma. She has the energy, the excitement. She did more for NXT in 2 years, and that is exactly why Triple H called her the anchor of that show. He could be okay without Shinsuke Nakamura. He could be okay without Bobby Roode. He was alright without Finn Balor and Kevin Owens. The list went on and on. But when you lose Asuka, that is a big blow, and I am excited what tomorrow lies for the Empress of Tomorrow. Asuka is the greatest NXT superstar of all time, and people are going to miss her, but she's going to have success on the main roster. Mark my words. Let's send it in the studio to Justin and Juice for their thoughts on Asuka and relinquishing the NXT Women's Championship.
All right, thank you, Eisenberg. Obviously, he's very passionate about Asuka. He wrote about it on WrestleZone.com. Relinquishing the NXT title, never lost.
I'm torn on this.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I don't think it's a bad thing that you can say that she was never defeated for the title, but at the same time, it sucks that she just had to have it taken away from her like this. I wanted her to be on the main roster, quote unquote, with that title and still defeating women and just never losing for a long time until maybe a big WrestleMania match. We never got to really see that.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I mean, it's cool the fact that she's undefeated and potentially that she's, undefeated and she could go in and maybe win the women's title on Raw or SmackDown. But yeah, I'm like you. I would have rather seen her hold both titles at the same time, legitimately lose the NXT title to somebody to put somebody over. Because now, whoever ends up being the next women's NXT champion,
maybe they're not going to get.
They're not going to, and whoever it is, whether it's they're not going to get the same rub that they would have got having finally been the one who beat Asuka.
Just like Goldberg, as much as the parallels there. I mean,
yeah, so I'm torn on this.
It's almost like a lost thing that they could have had that with the injury derailed it.
I do agree a lot with what Josh has wrote and said. That I think Asuka, her level that she's risen to and she's performed at in her WWE time. Never mind what she accomplished in Japan, but in her WWE time, I think in NXT time has been awesome. I think it's even more amazing, and this is just a reality here, is that, and Nakamura falls on this too, is that WWE it can be hit or miss sometimes when you bring.
International talent.
When you bring international talent, especially from, it's one thing when you bring international talent from, England and Ireland, but when you come from, like Japan, that's a lot different culture.
And the speaking is not
a
always
lot
there.
Different language, a lot different style if we're talking wrestling.
And you base all of it almost on the in-ring work instead of promos, because how much are they really going to convey to you?
I mean, you could even there's always, and we've seen them bring people from Mexico or Japan, and it's not always work out. So I think it's a true accomplishment when you really look at how well Asuka's done.
You're telling me Kensuke Sasaki didn't work out?
How well she's been received and what she's going to do on Raw or SmackDown. Does she go to Raw or SmackDown? Which one?
I think she deserves to be on Raw, but I think the better matches would be on SmackDown, and she might end up being better overall on SmackDown. But I mean, Raw is where. It's the flagship show. That's where she should be.
I would say Raw, flagship show. Again, if she's coming in undefeated.
She could lead the division.
3 hours to fill, and you already have a Japanese star on Tuesday.
So exactly. So
I mean, and that matters when you talk about the WWE Network.
Yeah, I agree with that. I just think maybe then you do a shake-up down the line, and she gets to go on SmackDown to face a Charlotte or whatever. Or maybe you have her on Raw and Charlotte's on SmackDown, you have an interim promotional thing. WrestleMania.
Oh, now we're really, for WrestleMania it's fine.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we're just diluting the brand.
Yeah, you don't want to do that. Of course, WrestleMania.
CSR on WZ, it is your #1 procrastination tool. You can watch on WrestleZone.com. You can go to any of the YouTube channels. You can go to WrestleZone's Facebook where we have some special clips. Make sure you like, share, comment, do what you got to do. Coming up next, we're going to talk about the return of Vince McMahon to SmackDown Live. It's coming with the walk and all.